Hi everyone, welcome to the third video in the subconscious series. So this one we're going to be talking about our real needs versus our false needs as adults, because they are very different. Our false needs come from our childhood, immature self, so they come from our lower self, our inner child, our ego, and our real needs come from ourselves being mature adults, and I'll explain that a little bit later on in the video, but it's basically just what every adult truly needs, and we end up projecting these childhood needs onto other people, especially romantic people in our life, jobs perhaps, and pretty much anywhere that you might have some type of quality that you're searching for that you just aren't getting. And in Soul Expansion School, I definitely go more in depth into this concept, but there is a concept I'll just tell you about quickly called the forcing current. And basically really what that means is that we try and create a certain type of current. We try and force others to make us feel a certain way, to give us some type of trait such as love, affection. And when this doesn't happen, we end up placing blame on the other person. We get mad at them, and we even tend to withdraw our own love because we're not receiving that from, for example, our romantic partner. And the thing is, this never actually ends up happening either. I bet you can't name a time where you tried to force others to love you, to give you words of affirmation, to give you affection that you really crave. I bet it's never actually happened when you tried to force it. I know it hasn't happened in my own life. And what also is really hard about this too is that during this, even if you're not aware of this, by forcing others to give you certain traits, you're also giving away your energy and your power. So it usually results in like a lot of agonizing pain, lots of dark emotions, lots of negative emotions, and just sadness, right? Because it never ends up happening, and you go into this like vicious circle of why aren't these people or this one person that you're with now, why aren't they giving you this love, this affection, these words of affirmation that you crave so much, even though they might be a good person, or even though you might be a good person and you're coming from a good place? Why is it not translating? Why don't you deserve that? Because you do deserve it, but it needs to come from somewhere else. And that place is not from your inner child, not from your ego, and not from your lower self. This disheartening process will only really be resolved when you stop looking externally for, these certain things that I have listed off, and instead look internally. But the thing is, your lower self and your ego will tell you that you have to look for these things externally because you do not have the capacity within yourself to give yourself the love, the fulfillment, the affection that you need. You have to look to other people and externally. And that has set you up for lots of heartache and failure. So again, these false traits always come from our childhood. Our childhood was basically this huge part of our life that determined a lot of our traits, a lot of our images, a lot of our false needs, and we all have them. It's not like some people have them and some people don't. We all have them, but what we're called to do when we are on a spiritual path is to heal our inner child, our childhood, our past, and move into this place of our higher self at the forefront of enlightenment, of growth, right? That life story where things end up changing. Things change around. You may grow up poor, but then, you do the inner work. You push through those limiting beliefs that your parents might have taught you, that society might have taught you, and you turn your life around and you become this like incredibly abundant, fulfilled being. So not only is it important for you to differentiate your real needs versus your false needs, but this is going to affect you in your life as a whole. So anyways, these false needs come from unfulfilled qualities that we never like truly got as a child that we so craved for. So again, like I said, we end up projecting these needs onto, most of the time, our romantic partners, looking for someone to give us what we felt like we missed out on in childhood. And this can be all in the subconscious. You might not even know that you're actually doing this consciously. So it's really important to do this shadow work to start to find out what lingers in your subconscious, because I'll just give you an example. Like, if you have been working your butt off and you are a spiritual person, you're doing, the affirmations, the mantras, the visualization, any type of things, a gratitude journal to get you to that next level, but you're still getting blocked. There's still repeated patterns. There's still situations or life aspects that you're not breaking through to the next level. It's something that you can't see, and most of the time it's lying in your subconscious, which is why this work is so important. I can't stress that enough. I love this work. So anyways, the real childhood needs that we did need, any child needs, is basically care, food, attention, happiness, and appreciation. And when we don't get those needs fulfilled, and these are like the bare minimum needs, we end up creating these false needs from there, especially when we're not receiving a lot of emotional attention or affection or happiness that we so craved from our parents. And again, this is not your parents' fault. You might have had wonderful parents, but this is just how the child ego really works. So if you don't heal these false childhood needs, because you are an adult now, they end up blocking you. They drain your energy because you're giving away your power. And also it's an emotional drain because, like I said before, you're not getting what you crave. And it never happens because not only is it not that other person's responsibility to fulfill those needs that you didn't get in childhood, but also you're looking in the wrong spot for the answer, right? Again, you have to look internally to get those needs. And I know that it may sound hard or even ridiculous, but that is the honest truth. I'm sure you've heard like that common cliche saying where it's like, you can't love someone until you end up loving yourself. And part of that is very, very true. And this is because our lower self is at the forefront and is telling you, I need love. I need a man to take care of me. I need him to give me lots of hugs and kisses. I need him to support me financially. And really what that is in the subconscious level is that you cannot provide that for yourself. You are also rejected that as a child, and you haven't forgiven that yet. And there's just so many aspects as to that relates to the childhood psychology in general. And you are being called now, if you are watching this, to start to heal that aspect of yourself so you can truly move forward, so that you can grow your self-worth, your self-appreciation, your self-care, and overall your life in general. And I'm not saying that I want you to let others treat you like crap because you're the only one who can love yourself and give yourself attention. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, when you feel like you're being you can tell when you're being needy, you can tell when you're being needy. So when you are coming from that place of desperation and of neediness, you need to look inwardly. But the thing is, once you start doing this, once you're able to heal these wounds, once you're able to start loving yourself and accepting yourself even more, the suffering, the desperation, the neediness will start to diminish as your real needs, which are, as an adult, self-expression, growth, and achievement occur, those fulfilling relationships, that happiness, that fulfillment in those romantic areas will start to emerge forward, because you're not relying on them to give you what you really need. They're just a bonus in our life. So when you start to shift your own attitude and, really forgive and heal the past, that's when everything that you actually want starts to step and move forward. So really, in order to change your relationship, you really have to start within yourself first. And this is not an easy process at all, and there's a lot more information to this, but I just wanted to give you the gist and some things that you can start kind of recognizing within yourself so that you can start to heal this aspect of yourself and move forward. And I really do hope some of you will consider joining me for Soul Expansion School in the fall. It is a 3-month program where we dive deeply into the subconscious, where we expand on all of the information that I'm giving you now, as well as working on our lower chakras. And that is where most of our childhood trauma and needs and aspects of our subconscious are stored. So you're really going to get a lot more information on this so that you can change your life. And it is in a group setting, which I find is really special. So you're able to share openly about your experiences. There are 3 live calls with everyone. And if you do sign up before August 1st, you do get some discounts and bonuses for that as well. So I do hope that you check that out if you are interested and if you are enjoying this work. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys next week for a video on honoring your emotions and why that is so important.